the Castlemaine Rod Shop, and today we're talking early Holden 2-inch drop stub axles.
Very famous here at the Rod Shop, been around since the early 90s, one of the biggest selling items over the years.
What's the main advantage of, obviously it lowers your car 2 inches, but what are the main advantages?
Exactly, like you just said, very, very straightforward. As you've got here, you've got a standard Holden stub axle. To the right of this one, you've got the drop axle. As you can see, spindle moves up 50 mil, very, very straightforward.
And you keep your original springs, and obviously the ride height's very important. We've all driven lowered cars, so rough to ride in.
We've all been silly enough to cut the springs and think it's going to handle like a baby, but it doesn't. So the advantage of this here, top ball joint, bottom ball joint, retain your original suspension. So the spring will stay in the spring pocket. This here will literally just move the spindle height bang up 50 mil.
And the suspension travel is very important, as you said. It keeps that original ride height.
Make the car last a lot longer too. You're not rattling down the road. So this here will just keep the comfort of the original one. And the best advantage of these is it opens up a lot of options. So on your ride here, this here will actually lower the car 50 mil and allow you to put Commodore brakes on it. So your Commodore caliper, as you can see, will bolt directly to the back side of it, rotor straight on the front. If you wanted to go to later model Commodore brakes, you will need this little baby here. So this is VT to VZ brakes, where it's a floating disc. These here actually are an extra charge. These will slip onto your hub, obviously with the bearings, allow you to put a floating disc on, back with a big caliper back on there.
So it opens up plenty of options brakes-wise with your calipers and all sorts of things, but it also opens up options wheels.
Certainly does. Commodore wheels are a big thing now in the country. Obviously early Commodores, everyone's got them. Wheels are laying everywhere. Aftermarket supplies, everyone produces Commodore stud pattern now, and that's the beauty with this style of stub axle. This style of one here, as you can see, this side here hangs out further. This here is for your HQ to WB brakes. This side here is for your early Holden, so HD, HR, KTG. And this side here, if you've used a KTG, you'll have early Holden pattern. Flip to the other side where it's HQWB. This here will have your HQ Chev pattern, probably the biggest stud pattern wheel in the world.
So that's the nuts and bolts of it, but for those do-it-yourselfers out there, what are we talking time-wise, maybe each side?
We'll throw you back in the workshop shortly and we'll show you exactly how quick it is to put them into the car.
So we spoke about the 2-inch drop spindles. We're actually going to do it before and after on his old HT Wagon. So it's always good to see the differences. We're going to show you how to put them on. And we're going to show you the difference in the drop. About 630. We're going to put the 2-inch drop spindles on it. It's that easy, even I can do it. Watch this. As you can see, top and bottom ball joint all buttoned up and we're on nicely. I've actually come over here and stripped the old stub axle and I've taken the steering arm off. Don't do what I usually do and throw away the instructions. There's a few little spaces and bolts supplied that's got to go behind the steering arm. Got the steering arm just about bolted. I'll connect that up. And then we'll look at throwing the disc on. Once again, you want these discs tight, but not over tight, because they've still got to spin freely, but be enough to keep the wheel on. When putting the cap on, little tip, is obviously get a socket to go over the top of it. They can be a bugger to get on sometimes. Beautiful. So just about to put the caliper back on. We'll chuck the wheel on, we'll lower this thing down and see what it looks like. So 635, 580, my calculations, that's 55 mil. Right on the money. Well, the old wagon, we've got it looking good. We've dropped it 55 mil, which is exactly what we're after, but we must stress, safety first. You should get a wheel alignment. It might handle a bit funny, so be very careful when you're driving it. Make sure you go to get a wheel alignment, safety first. Well, it's pretty much stood the test of time, the old drop stub axles, and they've been around for 20 years, and they'll probably be around a lot longer. Go to rodshop.com.au and get yours today. Well, it's been a hard day's work. I've got my hands dirty. What else do you do in a wagon except go cruising? The boys assure me it hasn't been christened.